Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss Mulligan. How are you? I hope everybody's doing really well. Today, we're going to talk about lowercase letters, and I'm going to show you a picture or a visual to help you see how text or print works sometimes, okay? And it's always important to read after me. I can, find, lowercase, letters, and pay attention to print. And I drew some clouds in the sky. Notice how my capital letter, uppercase, is way high. It's much higher than my lowercase. My lowercase is down closer to the ground. And I drew a picture to kind of have us look at letters with visuals to help discriminate the difference or tell the difference between the two. This book is called Cat on the Mat. And if I'm looking closely at that yellow background, I see there's some taller letters like that. Okay. But there's also some thicker letters, and they're wider. And if you look, you'll be able to discriminate, especially when you're matching a letter with another letter. That's when you really can tell the difference between uppercase and lowercase. Okay, so we're going to talk about those lowercase letters, and I'm going to tell you something really special about uppercase letters today as we read a sentence. Okay? I drew you a little picture of our title, and I took the word cat. Cat. And our title is Cat on the Mat. And when I drew that picture, boys and girls, I made the sky and the sun up here and the grass, okay? And when you're looking at that capital C, it's tall and it's wide and it's thick, isn't it? And this T is tall, but it's skinnier, isn't it? And you notice that these lines might be closer to the ground. So sometimes you've got to really pay attention to how we use print when we write, because it can determine telling the difference between a capital and a lowercase letter. Okay? They're little clues to help you tell the difference. In this case, I can tell lowercase letters are these two. A and T are a little closer down here, aren't they, with that line down here, because the capital T is up there. This is a capital C. These are lowercase. Lowercase, I always use the LL acronym to help me remember it. Little letters, lowercase letters. Capital letters and uppercase are taller. Okay? So, when I look at that, I can tell they're probably lowercase. Okay? I'm going to turn the page, and I'm going to give you clues about print before you even start reading, boys and girls. Okay? Because remember, when we turn the page, remember we start here if there was print, and then we go to the next page, right? And we find that side, that binder, and then we look here. That's my first letter on the page, second letter, third letter in that word. Remember, words are divided by that space, and there's blue space in between one word, two words, three words, 4 words, 5 words, 6 words. And there's a period. It's not a dot. It looks like a dot, but it's a period. It means stop. Okay? One thing you need to know about a sentence, it does have an ending mark, but at the beginning, there's always a capital letter, a tall uppercase capital letter, and it always starts at the front, first, at the beginning. And at the end is that punctuation mark, whether it's a period, an exclamation point, a question mark. Sometimes there's something else called an ellipsis. So what we're looking at today is I want you to pay attention that whenever you start reading, the first letter in a sentence is always capitalized. It's uppercase. And if you look through and you keep going over, they're usually lowercase letters till the very end. And there's some exceptions to that rule. If you have a name in that sentence like Davion, the D would be capitalized. Or Jerome, the J would be capitalized because the first letter in your name is always capitalized. Everything else is lowercase. Okay? There's other examples, but right now I'm going to tell you there are exceptions, and a name would be one example. Okay? So look at my picture. I made a visual so you can kind of pay attention to how print works when we write. When we write, there's my capital uppercase. And it's tall, it's up in the sky. And my lowercase letters can be tall, but they're much skinnier often, okay? And if you look at them, they're closer to the grass on the ground. See that little curve in the middle? Oftentimes they are. And uppercase letters are pretty much really tall in the sky, okay? They're much taller up this way, to the sky where the clouds are in the sun. And you can tell that's your uppercase. These are lowercase. So let's look for lowercase on this page. Is this lowercase? Look at it. No. Is this? Yes. Look at it. It's closer here. Lowercase, 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 lowercase. Lowercase, 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 lowercase. My sentence ends. My period. So when I think about lowercase letters, it's almost all the sentence except for a few exceptions. It's always the capital letter at the beginning. The first letter is always uppercase. But most of the time when we read through a sentence, the rest are lowercase. Except for other exceptions like names, special places, and abbreviations, and some street names. And there's other exceptions too. But it kind of helps you understand how print works. Knowing first letter is usually capital uppercase, and usually the rest are lowercase. Not always, but most of the time. If I turn the page, I wrote that word right here. And we're looking for lowercase. We know the first letter is uppercase capital, so that would not be a lowercase. But the rest of these go in that direction. H, E, all these are lowercase. If I drew a line, do you see that uppercase is a little taller, wider, thicker? Okay, let's turn the page. And let's find out. There's the word again. The TH together makes the sound. But I'm noticing there's my capital letter because I see a period at the end. And I know when I start my sentence, it's uppercase. So I can tell that most of these letters, or all of them, are lowercase. Okay. I turn the page again. There's the. Remember, we know that that first letter, because there's a mark here at the end, it's a sentence. We know the first letter is always capitalized in a sentence or uppercase. Most of the time, lowercase, 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 lowercase. And we're done with that. So there's little clues to help us, isn't there? Again, you see the period at the end, and all these words make up a sentence. And remember, when we start a sentence, it's always uppercase capital. Where's my lowercase? I'm checking through. These are all lowercase letters. Lowercase, they're a little more down here, aren't they? A lot of them. They're not as tall. Some of them are. They can be. But their little curves and things are more in the middle, aren't they? A lot of them. When you compare them, you'll really tell the difference between uppercase and lowercase. But in sentences, this is how we learn where those uppercase and lowercase letters occur or where they are. There's an ending mark. It's not a period. Exclamation point. We say it louder. It's spust. It's kind of hissing, isn't it? The cat. And I love it because I wanted you to see that comparing when we match an uppercase and lowercase. And I love this book because it really helps you discriminate and tell the difference between the two. Can you tell me at home when I point to it if it's uppercase or lowercase? Look at both of them. One's taller, one's shorter. Which one's lowercase? Is it this one? No. Is it this one? Yes. Why? What's the difference? This one's taller and bigger and wider, and this one is smaller and shorter. They look the same, except pay attention to print. The size is different. The width is different. How tall the letter is different, and how wide the letter is different. But they both have the same curves. Lowercase. That's your uppercase. What's that? Lowercase, like that one. It's smaller, it's little compared to this, is bigger. What's that? Uppercase or lowercase? Lowercase. What's that P? Those are all S's. That P and that P is lowercase, isn't it? They're the same. They're smaller, they're shorter. They're closer to the ground. Lowercase. And there's another S in there, lowercase. That one's so much bigger, uppercase, capital. And the TT's at the end, lowercase. The capital T's line is way up here. So, and I also can tell it's lowercase because the first one's capital uppercase and the rest are lowercase. Usually. Remember those exceptions because it's not all the time. But usually when we start learning about print, we know we start with an uppercase capital and most of the little letters after it are lowercase. Not all the time. Because there's those names that are different with the capital letters that can be in a sentence sometimes. The cat saw Davion. The Davion would be a capital D. The at the beginning would be a capital T because it's the first letter in the sentence. So, pay attention to print, boys and girls. It's important. And I like to draw visuals because some of us are visual learners. And sometimes we need to have a picture to help us learn better. Okay? And it's a strategy sometimes. We can draw a picture to help us understand better. It's that strategy, that helper in our brain that helps us remember what an uppercase is and lowercase. We can kind of tell by the grass and the sun and the sky. We can also tell by how tall letters are and how short they are and where they are in a sentence. First letter would be capitalized. There's my ending mark. Usually most of them are lowercase after that. Usually, not always. So, boys and girls, repeat after me. I can find, lowercase, letters, and pay attention to print. Pay attention to print. I would love for you to use your whiteboard today or a piece of paper and draw me a lowercase s if you can. And put some grass down on the ground and a cloud in the sky if you want. You don't have to, but it'd be cool if you could draw me a lowercase s. Have a great day, boys and girls. I miss you. Bye-bye.